Hey guys, we're here in the Netherlands at Gazelle's factory, and today we're going to be checking out the Medeo T10 Plus, which is a new speed pedelec. The Medeo T10 Plus is Gazelle's value price speed bike at $34.99. It's a really good value for what you're getting here. So you have the Bosch Power Tube 500 watt-hour battery, the new Generation 4 speed motor, and a 10-speed derailleur. And it's a really sharp looking bike. So this is the low step version, which comes in this petrol gray color, but it's also available in a standard frame in what's called mallard blue, which is a dark navy blue color. So overall, the bike is kind of a mix between sporty and comfort, and that's kind of something that's stereotypical of most of the bikes that Gazelle offers. You have this kind of relatively swept back handlebar, but it's still somewhat sporty frame. And they're going with a little bit wider tires and a suspension fork here, and we'll kind of get into some of those specs now. So this is the low step version, available in three sizes: a 45 centimeter, 50 centimeter, and 55 centimeter. So you can fit a wide range of riders, probably starting somewhere in the low 5 foot to the kind of mid 6 foot range. The frames are really quite nice. The welds are pretty smooth here, and they have a nice power tube battery with the charging port here, and it does have the ability to add an additional battery as well. Overall, the bike puts you in kind of a moderate position, so you're a little bit forward, but you're still somewhat upright. You have the ability to adjust the stem here depending on your preference, and the bars are somewhat swept back, and you have these really great Ergon GP1 grips. For the saddle, it's pretty wide, so because you're sitting pretty upright, you have a good amount of support, and it's pretty comfortable. For the rear rack, this is a really nice setup. It's rated for 27.5 kilograms, so about 60 pounds, which is pretty high rating for a rear carrier. And with that, you can actually fit a child seat on here, because most child seats can accommodate about 45 pounds, but the child seat itself weighs about 10 pounds. So you have the ability to put a child and meet that full weight capacity, which is really nice. They're also using the MIK or MIK attachment system. So if you have those plates or a bag with that system, you can easily fit a bag on and off of here, and some nice straps if you want to just throw something under there. Another nice feature on this bike is these reinforced aluminum fenders. They're really pretty sturdy, and I think it's a nice add-on. So the T10 Plus is set up with the Schwalbe Big Apple 28 by 2 inch tires. Now these are balloon tires, so you can run them at a somewhat low pressure, and that will give you a lot of added comfort. But you do have it set up with a nice suspension fork, and this is a coil spring fork, so it's really low maintenance, and it does have a lockout here, and you can adjust the preload on the other side. This fork is a somewhat new fork. It's a coil spring fork, but it has a through axle, so that's a nice setup. So it's low maintenance, but still good performance. For the drivetrain, they have the Shimano Deore 10-speed derailleur with the Shadow Plus technology, so it has the ability to kind of stiffen up the derailleur if you're riding on really rough terrain, prevent the chain from dropping. It has an 11 to 42 cassette, so you have a pretty low gear for some really large hills and that sort of thing if you want to do some climbing there. Up front, we have a 52 tooth chain ring, so it's really large, but this is paired well with the Bosch Performance Line speed motor. This is the new Generation 4 speed motor, and it really hides well underneath this chain ring. You can almost barely tell that there's a motor there. But let's check it out from the other side, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So you can see the motor a little bit better from this side, but you can tell it's really pretty small. So this is a new motor for Bosch. It's called Generation 4, changed from their Generation 2 speed motor. And they did away with the reduction gear, so there's more of a one-to-one relationship. So you don't have as much drag when you pedal without power. They were also able to lighten the weight in the motor as well as up the torque. So previously the speed motor had 63 Newton meters of torque. Now the new motor has 75 Newton meters of torque, and the way that the power actually is delivered, there's more power at the top of the curve. So when you go above 20 miles an hour, you actually get more power. So it's easier to hit that 28-mile-an-hour mark and really sustain it. Now, the Bosch system uses a technology called pedal assist. And basically what that means is the bike will assist as you pedal. It uses 3 sensors. One sensor sensing how fast the pedals are moving. The other is sensing how hard you're pedaling. And the third sensor is on the rear chainstay, and it's sensing how fast the bike is going overall. And the Bosch system is one of the best performing motors out there, and it's most of what we offer in the shop because we found that the reliability, the performance, and the serviceability is really second to none. To power the system, we have the Bosch Power Tube 500 watt-hour battery, and it's really well integrated into the frame. This battery you should see between 20 to 60 miles or so of range depending on the assistance level you use. And keep in mind, the faster you go, generally the more battery that you're going to use. But one of the nice things about this bike is it has the ability to run an additional battery. There's actually these mounting ports here, and there's a bracket that you can add an additional power pack battery. And that's available both in the low step frame as well as the standard frame. When you just have the single battery, the charging port is right here, and you can charge the battery on or off the bike. If you wanted to remove the battery, you'd actually remove the key from this rear cafe or frame lock. To remove the key, we'll lock this frame lock here. So just turn the key and make sure it's fully seated in there. You can just pull the key out. Now this is the same key for this rear frame lock as well as the battery. So that's pretty cool setup. So this one's set up with the Bosch Purion display. A pretty simple display. To turn it on, we just hold the power button on the top here. Wait a couple seconds and it will turn on. By default, you're going to be in the off mode. And if you want to change to the different assistance levels, you just hit plus or minus. So we hit plus once, we go to the eco mode. It's about a 60% assistance. Tour mode is 140% assistance. Sport mode's 240, and turbo mode is 340% assistance. So really get quite up there. Now, at the moment it's set to show the range here. If I hold the minus button down, it'll show some different screens. So the tripometer, hold this again, we get the total odometer, 5 miles only on the bike. And then we're back to the range, which keep in mind the range will change depending on the assistance level that you have. So if I go down to the eco mode, you'll see 75 miles of assistance. You also have the battery life here, which is shown in these 5 bars here. So the battery is pretty much fully charged here, and the miles per hour. One other option you do have available is walk assist, and you can activate walk assist by tapping this button on the bottom and then holding the plus button, and this will actually move the bike a couple miles an hour. So this is good if you have the rack loaded up, if you're walking up a big hill and you don't really want to have to push the weight of the bike. This will allow the bike to kind of push itself. While we're up here, I wanted to show you the Shimano Deore 10-speed shifter. You can shift 3 gears at a time going into the lower gears, and a single gear at a time going into the higher gears. So kind of a nice setup. And these are new brakes for Shimano. So they're actually these 3-finger levers, and it's a quad piston caliper. And we have the 4-piston Shimano calipers here with the 180 millimeter rotor in the front and a 160 in the rear. So really quite capable stopping power. For the headlight, it's a AXA 35 Lux headlamp. So it's pretty powerful, works well. By default, this is going to be on automatically, but we can make it so the light can be switched on and off. Same goes for the tail light. Well, thanks so much for checking out the video. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, just let us know in the comments below, and we look forward to seeing you in a future video.